Shalom uvracha, everyone. Greetings, the Judean Hills. This is Shlomo Katz. You're listening to The Soul of Israel on thelandofisrael.com, on Land of Israel Network. Today, it's always a gift, but today I have two halves, I guess. Usually it's half of me and half of, the all of me and the all of Rabbi Aryeh Bromwitz form one. But this morning we're rejoined again by our dear soul brother, Rabbi Jeremy Gimpel. So I guess it's thirds forming one today. Baruch Hashem. Awesome.
The triad.
We'll be blessed to continue building our triad.
Amen.
Brothers, our hearts are exploding because we always record after our learning in the morning, which makes it hard to slowly, gradually build up because we're already very, I would say, zony.
Flying.
Yeah. So we're going to have to somehow we're going to have to figure out how do we express our hearts and souls and where they're at right now through these microphones without a prayer. So I just want to bring a tefillah right now. Most of the world lacks communication. It says that usually, according to the Zohar, man is only able to convey 10% of what he's trying to say, of what his heart wants to say. And on the receiving end, you only receive 10% of what was told to you. So on a very clear day, you're working on a 1% level of communication. But only one time in the world were we acting on a 100% level of communication. Because 100% of what Hashem wanted to tell us, He told us at Mount Sinai. And for a split second, 100% of us received it with the first commandment. So that's still lingering in the air. The waves and channels of clarity in communication are still hovering over from this last Shabbos, where we read the portion of the giving of the 10 Commandments. So I just want to give a blessing right now that in all households, specifically between husbands and wives, parents and children, much more of 10% should be conveyed, and much more of 10% should be received, and that there should be a lot more clarity and hearing each other and listening to each other within every conversation between Jew and Jew, Jew and non-Jew, between all of humanity. Amen.
Amen.
So in our portion this coming week, we have two words that have kind of been the title of, or the anthem of anything that has to do with religious adherence. And those two words are Na'aseh v'nishma. In the Zmirot, in the songs of Shabbos.
We shall do.
Oh, sorry. We shall do and we shall obey.
We shall do and we shall understand.
We shall Na'aseh v'nishma. We shall do and we shall
Literally, the word is
listen.
Okay.
We shall listen. Yeah.
How could you do before you listen?
Classic question. Well, usually, if you only do something because you listened, that's not emunah. That's just logic. Because you probably won't do things if they don't add up to you. So if you do before you listen more, it really shows true commitment. And that's what, that's how we receive the words of Hashem. We say in the Zmirot, in the songs that we sing at the Shabbos table, I think it's Friday night. Saturday morning. Uvau chulam bivrit yachad. Everyone came together in a covenant. And what's the result of coming together in a covenant? Na'aseh v'nishma amru ke'echad. Right? Uvau chulam bivrit yachad. Na'aseh v'nishma amru ke'echad. That when we came together in a covenant, we were able to say these words, Na'aseh v'nishma, all of us together. Ufatchu ve'amru Hashem echad. And then that brings you to say Hashem is one. So I want to talk a little bit today about the response that happened in the higher worlds when we said Na'aseh v'nishma. When we said we will do and then we will listen, it shook the heavens. And there's a famous Gemara in the Talmud, in the Tractate of Shabbos, on the 68th page. It says that when we were on Mount Sinai and we said Na'aseh v'nishma, angels came and placed crowns on our heads. Crowns. Keter. Keter. We know that in the Kabbalistic Sfirot, in the spheres, Keter is the highest level of a godly emanation in this world, to reach the place of Keter. What does it mean that when we said Naaseh v'nishma, the angel's response was, let me bring Keters, let me put crowns on each person? What are crowns all about? So in order to understand this, I once learned a beautiful teaching from Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, which forces us to understand where the Keter reaches. You know, we always think that our highest place is our mind, is our intellect. And yet when we daven, when we pray, sometimes we see that our arms can extend higher to where our minds tell us. When we reach out to Hashem, we're basically saying, beyond what my mind can grasp, I know there's so much more. That's what the Keter does. The Keter is placed above the mind, above where the mind resides. A crown always comes higher. So Rabbi Carlebach used to say that Mount Sinai itself is not book knowledge. Mount Sinai is crown knowledge. Crown knowledge. And that's what I wanted to discuss today. I'll just leave a little bit of a tidbit here, is that usually Ari and I, or when Jeremy's here, we spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the title is of today's talk, because we diverge and we go on, we take detours and we say it comes out to a lot of different things when we planned. So I'm letting you know, I'm letting you all know, today's segment titling is going to be very easy, crown knowledge. So that already saves us,
Great.
A lot of headaches. Post.
I'm a little upset because that's Jeremy's only job today.
So Reb Shlomo Carlebach used to say the following. He used to say that you can go to a psychiatrist and share with them everything that ever happened with you in order so that psychiatrist could help you and get to know you. But when it comes to someone that you love, with someone that you love, everything that happened to me is on the level of a crown. Very weird statement. What does that mean? How do you know if something is crown knowledge or mind knowledge? It's very simple. Rabbi Shlomo used to say, when it comes to crown knowledge, even after you know what you just learned, it becomes such a deep mystery. After you know something based on mind knowledge, nothing happens, nothing grows. But after you know something based on crown knowledge, that which you know, and you do know it, becomes more and more of a mystery. So he was alluding to people that when they're in love with each other and they know each other, and you know who you're dealing with, you know who the person is in front of you, the more that you really know them and it's a crown relationship, the more that which you know becomes more mysterious to you.
I think for me, it really hits home. In the mornings, we're studying Shar HaIchud VaEmunah, written by the Alter Rebbe, about the oneness of Hashem in the world and how that works. And then later on, we just learned from Bnei Machshava Tova for the Piasetzner Rebbe. And like we're drawing slowly but surely, a little bit, understanding a little bit more of the oneness of God. But then every time we take like one step closer, Hashem just becomes that much more mysterious. It becomes that much more beyond.
You mamish took the words out of my mouth. It's exactly that. It's that place of also giving honor. What do I really give honor to? That which I know, or that which I know that there's so much more behind what I know? I honor that which I know there's so much more to it. So did we know God at Mount Sinai? Yes. Remember we said before? 100% was revealed to us, and we received it on 100% level of whatever that means. That
Our
God's
souls
revelation
left our body.
because we couldn't be here in this world with it. But that's exactly what the result is that when I know something on such a deep, intimate way, and it's holiness that I'm talking about, the more I realize that there's so much more than even that which I was exposed to. But the saddest thing that happens in the world when it comes to knowledge is that when it's not Mount Sinai knowledge, then what I know doesn't become something that I stand in reverence before or that I honor. And all we're trying to do in the world is bring more kavod, more and more honor into the world. I honor and I respect, I usually give honor and kavod much more to those who I know are so much more than I'll ever know about them. Like they could reveal something to me. But I know that whatever they're revealing, there's so much more to the picture than where I'm at. So how does this tie into what we were discussing? Let's take our Gemara heads right now. How did we begin this segment today? When we said Naaseh v'nishma, the angels came and put crowns on us. Why did they put crowns on us? One of the explanations is, and I haven't seen this anywhere, but it kind of makes sense. Who do you put a crown on? You put on crown on someone that you honor. The angels, up until Mount Sinai, didn't really honor us. They didn't respect us because they looked at man, they looked at sinning, they looked at knowledge, the way we relate to knowledge, and they realized, and that was the claim they had on God also, why are you giving the Torah to humans? Look what they can do with it. Then they saw that we're willing to go to that place of emunah and saying Naaseh v'nishma, and they thought to themselves, that's something we could never do. We only fulfill missions that God tells us because we understand it. We could never be like human beings that are connected to crown knowledge. They go above their head, they go above their mind, and they started to respect us as well. The angels in heaven began to respect us as well and came down and placed crowns on our head. So I'm wondering today, not that we should have a mission to try to impress angels, because I don't know what that would look like. I have no idea what that means. But how do we give cover to each other? Because that's the world I want to continue living in. I want to raise my 4 beautiful daughters in a world where they see that Judaism is a religion of giving honor to other people, giving cover to each other. But what do you have to do in order to give cover to somebody else?
Understand their value and importance and internalize that.
And the next stage after that is to know that as much as you think you know about them, there's so much more. And that humbles you. When you have grasped something to the greatest extent that you think it's possible to grasp them, but then you realize there's so much more to the person, that relationship gets much deeper. I think that the 3 of us can give the greatest example. The 3 of us know each other for many years now. And we've known each other through different waves of life. Bachelorhood, early stages of marriage, the wandering Jew, the hard stuff we've been through, the good stuff we've been through. But I could see that once our relationship was formed around more about Torah and more about growth, the less bored I could ever become from being with you guys. The more surprised I keep on becoming from the people that I'm so close to, and the more that I want to honor you guys. Is that freaking you out right now, or
No, it's making me think about a conversation I once overheard where there was a woman went and was talking about the ultra orthodox, the Haredim, and they're all the same. They all dress exactly the same, and it's all the same. And the the Haredim man said, well, we're minimizing the external differences in order to connect on the deepest level, and the nuanced differences and the huge differences between us are able to become so much more beautiful when there's no distractions of external differences.
Very deep. We fall into this stuff all the time. All the time. I think it's because we're scared. We think that we have to know people, and not know them because we have to defend ourselves all the time. But if there's enough trust in a system, you can honor so much more.
Yeah, I think that word is key there, trust. I mean, Naaseh v'nishma means I'm just going to do it. I don't understand it. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm just going to get to know this person. I'm just going to follow HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whatever he says. It's just I'm going to trust that it's all going to work out. And without that trust, that you can't really ever open up. You can't let other people open up. And also the gateways to Hashem, well, they won't be open up. There has to be some sort of step forward, a walk in faith.
That's what the angels were exposed to at the time of Matan Torah. That's what freaked them out. They were shocked to their core. So therefore, maybe you understand the Gemara right then and there. You're fit for royalty. I'm going to honor you to the greatest extent that I possibly can. Again, this is just one of the explanations explaining this Gemara. Why did they come and bring down a crown? It's because they realize these people reach deeper than their mind. The mind says, I only trust that which I know. That's what the mind says. The world of Emunah says, I trust. My real trust only begins when I stop knowing and stop understanding and thinking that I have a hasaga.
You know how a Jew can really experience that nowadays? Make an aliyah. someone that leaves the United States, leaves Canada, leaves Australia, and they're going into a place that no one really knows what's going to happen when they make Aliyah. There has to just be like, I just trust that I don't exactly know how it's going to be. I don't exactly know what my job is going to look like yet. I'm just going to na'aseh, and I'm going to figure it out on the way there.
Did you read my monologue? Did you read my monologue? Isn't that amazing that happens? I'm like, wait a second, am I talking or is that you right now? There's no greater example for that today. I have to say, I was very moved at a certain point at your son's bar mitzvah, because you really raised this inyan when you spoke to your wife and you thanked her, because you quoted from the prophets and you said, "Zacharti la chesed nuraich," when that God remembers the chesed, chesed nuraich, avat chulotaich, lechtech acharai b'midbar be'eretz lo zruah. Follow me in a desert, in an unsown land. And you equated that to like basically the journey that you've embarked on, that your wife has followed you
into a desert.
Into another. You know how deep that was? You know how deep that was? That's a crown relationship. That's a relationship that the angels come, they place crowns on those kind of relationships built on trust.
And if you remember, I think that part, you were crying when you said that.
Yeah.
I remember that. It really had an impact on me because of exactly what Rav Shlomo was saying, that there's something so beauty about that crown relationship and that distinct element of it that's just like so hard. It's so rare to see in the world. But that's exactly, to be able to see it between two people is a microcosm of it with Hashem.
Yeah, it had a deep impact on me and my wife, very much so. That's Har Sinai. That's Har Sinai. That's Na'aseh v'Nishma. That's the reenactment of receiving of the Torah. So from the Judean hills here that are, they're becoming less and less of an unsown land, but on a certain level, it still is a mystery. As much as we know these, you're building your whole world right now on a mountaintop. As much as you get to know the mountain becomes more, the farm becomes more of a mystery. That's what it's like with every relationship. The more that we get to know Hashem, the more of a mystery that it becomes. So I bless us all to not have fear with the world of mystery. That's a gift. That's what keeps the relationships fiery. But you need bitachon. You need to trust that you can say Na'aseh v'Nishma, and who knows, maybe an angel will come at that moment and place a crown on your head, on your family's head. And please Hashem, let it be a tefillah that we just want to honor each other more. And we honor each other more by trusting that there's so much more than meets the eye. So please grant us with the ability, as we're getting close to Purim, where there was a reenactment of the receiving of the Torah, that as well in our own lives, that if you asked us today, will you keep my Torah, that we would believe with full faith, that we would also say today, Na'aseh v'Nishma.
Amen.
Chevra, if you want to go deeper into the Torah, almost every day Reb Shlomo is putting out Torahs. Go to his website, plug in. Ari and I are here learning. There's a beautiful Chabura here in Efrat. And if you are considering Aliyah, let me tell you, if I was making Aliyah, I would move to the Zayt in Efrat, period, end of story.
I never thought I would hear those words out of your mouth.
Me neither. Chevra, thelandofisrael.com. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Reb Shlomo Kol HaKavod, Toda Rabba.
Shekoch.